Hello, welcome. Last week, several channels talked about a new PlayStation 2 emulator that emerged for Android. Today, let's explore MyPS2, test its advantages over NetherSX2, and see if it is just an Oriental emulator intended for data collection from users. First, let's talk about the developer. It is a Korean company called IEFriends. Besides this PlayStation 2 emulator, they have a PSP emulator and the famous MAME, an arcade emulator, in their portfolio. Regarding security and data collection, the company's privacy policy states that the emulator does not collect any user data unless an unexpected error occurs. In such a case, a log is sent containing information such as IP, device name, operating system version, and the configuration used by the emulator. In a scan conducted, no malware was found in the application. MyPS2 is based on the PC version of PCSX2 January 7, 2310, dated February 1, 2022. This means they used a base that is over 2 years old, and to compile the application for Android, they used a fork of IEFriends. What changes were made by the developers? Basically, they removed the user interface written in Java and created another one using Android Studio. The company's motivation for releasing this app was that the developer wanted to use the emulator with his own user interface. Additionally, they removed the ads since there is a version of IEFriends with ads. If you follow the channel, you know that the latest versions of NetherSX2 no longer have ads and still receive small fixes through patches. Exploring the internal folders of the emulator, I noticed that the BIOS is already included in the app, eliminating the need for the user to provide a BIOS. The Vulkan API and several other options present in NetherSX2 were also removed. Basically, this is a simplified version where you only need to provide your games, pair your controller, and play. The only available options are changing the touchscreen layout, if you're using that type of control, enabling an FPS counter, which showed strange results on my device, and switching the screen aspect ratio between 4:3 and 16:9. There is also a function to enable or disable vibration. However, when using the DualShock 4, this function did not work, whereas it worked correctly on IEFriends. Besides the absence of the Vulkan API, there is another detail that bothered me a lot: the need to import the games into the apps folder. Upon starting the app, you encounter the game import page. On my ROG phone, I had issues importing, forcing me to manually copy the games to the system folder where the emulator stores its data. This is not intuitive for the user and requires more advanced knowledge. Another problem is that after importing the games, you cannot delete them through the app, again forcing access to the system folder. Keep in mind that not all Android devices allow you to view this folder. But aside from that, how was the performance in the games? The first test was with Burnout 3. I noticed that the game menu, where a background cutscene is displayed while you select your options and load the player profile, showed extreme slowness. The game also had some freezes lasting about 5 seconds. The black sky bug, present in almost all Criterion games on PCSX2 1.6, also occurs here. Therefore, when playing Burnout or Black, the sky will not render correctly. I also tested Tekken 5, an extremely optimized game, which ran well but had some lighting issues and slowdowns. I noticed that even with the game running at approximately 20 FPS, the game's native FPS counter continued to show 60 FPS. Metal Gear Solid 3 had the same slowness problem. Even though it was noticeable that the game was below 15 FPS, the FPS counter continued to indicate 60 FPS. Another issue was the lack of higher resolution. Emulating the game at the original PS2 resolution makes it practically impossible to locate camouflaged enemies. Before we move on to the next game, don't forget to leave a like so this video can reach even more people. And if this is your first time here, consider subscribing to the channel. And the fan favorite, Need for Speed Underground 2, had problems during the start, with the game running slower while the FPS counter indicated 60 FPS. After a few laps, the game displayed a greenish filter that is not part of the game, making it darker than usual. Finally, God of War 2 rendered correctly, and during the entire test recording, it did not show any kind of slowness or graphical issues. In conclusion, for now, until MyPS2 receives the latest improvements from NetherSX2 and PCSX2, it is not worth it. Practically all optimization options for more modest devices, like frame skip and other hacks, are not available in this emulator. If you have a more powerful device, you also won't have access to improvements like texture packs and internal resolution scaling. Additionally, it's unclear whether in widescreen mode the emulator stretches all objects to 16:9 or expands the rendering area like NetherSX2. The game import process is cumbersome, and the inability to delete them without access to the system folder is a major inconvenience. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.